The Frequency. A story of mystery, discovery, and the unknown. The cold steel table beneath Nadia's back was unforgiving, but she barely registered its presence. What happens next will change everything. Some secrets are better left buried. But the truth always finds a way. Like and subscribe for more stories like this one. The cold steel table beneath Nadia's back was unforgiving, but she barely registered its presence. Her ears buzzed with anticipation as Kai Chen, a man who had promised to restore her hearing, leaned in close. "Are you ready?" he asked, his breath warm against her ear. Nadia nodded, her heart pounding. For years, the world around her had been muted and gray, an emotional wasteland. She'd accepted it as her fate, a consequence of a childhood illness that left her deaf from birth. But now, with this new implant, she might finally regain what she'd lost. Kai inserted a thin needle beneath her skin at the base of her skull. Nadia flinched, but he assured her through gritted teeth, "It'll just take a moment." The sensation was akin to having pins and needles coursing through her entire body. She bit down on her lip, steeling herself for the unknown. As Kai worked, Elijah Taylor, CEO of Empathix, a tech company at the forefront of neural implant innovation, observed from the corner of the room. His eyes never left Nadia's face, assessing with an unnerving intensity that made her skin prickle. The procedure completed, Kai stepped back and offered her a gentle smile. "You did great. Now we just need to activate the implant." He guided her into a soundproof booth equipped with headphones and began the activation process. The room around Nadia seemed to fade away as she focused on the crackling static within the headphones, a cacophony that signaled her implants were booting up. And then, in an instant, it happened. A symphony of sounds erupted through the speakers' voices, music, even the hum of machinery, all crystal clear and vibrant. Nadia's eyes snapped open as she clutched at her ears, overwhelmed by the sudden onslaught of sensation. Kai approached, concern etched on his features. "How do you feel? Is it too much?" Nadia struggled to find words, her mind reeling from the onslaught of sound. But gradually, a sense of clarity emerged, as if her entire life had been leading up to this moment. She took a deep breath and tried to articulate what she was experiencing. It's like nothing I've ever known before," she managed at last. "I can hear everything, every lie, every truth." Kai beamed with pride. "Excellent. You're reading emotional resonance perfectly, the ability to detect deception through sound waves." He paused, considering her reaction. "You know, Nadia, your implant is so advanced we may need to rethink how Empathix operates." Nadia's gaze drifted toward Elijah, whose eyes seemed to gleam with an unsettling purpose behind Kai's words. She felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized the true scope of what she'd become, a tool for corporate espionage and blackmail. "Wait," Rebecca Morales, one of Empathix's employees, whispered urgently as she slipped into the room unnoticed by Elijah. "You don't understand. Elijah intends to weaponize your gift for his own game. We need to stop him before it's too late." Nadia looked at her incredulously, dismissing the warning with a shake. She turned back to Kai and Elijah, a newfound sense of purpose fueling her words. "Let's make this work for Empathix. Together, we can uncover deception like never before." Rebecca watched Nadia embrace the fate Elijah had designed for her, her heart heavy with the knowledge that she'd have to find another way to expose the truth. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity as Nadia began vetting executives for Empathix using her unique gift. Kai watched with growing pride as she honed her skills, able to uncover even the slightest inconsistencies in sound waves emitted by those under scrutiny. But Rebecca's warning continued to haunt Nadia, especially when she detected something off about Kai during an interview. His fear was palpable, like a dark shadow lurking beneath the surface of his words. She confronted him after the meeting, her voice tight with concern as she asked if he'd been hiding something from her. Kai looked taken aback, his hands trembling as he reassured Nadia that he hadn't intentionally deceived her. "I was just nervous about the experiment's success," he admitted, his eyes darting to Elijah in the background before quickly returning to hers. Nadia wasn't convinced, but she pushed aside her doubts and focused on the task at hand. helping empathics grow into a respected enterprise. However, one evening as she sat alone in her apartment, Nadia couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. She replayed Kai's fear in her mind, wondering why he would hide such a thing from her. It was then that she decided to investigate further, determined to uncover the truth about empathics and its true intentions. With Rebecca's help, Nadia pieced together evidence of Elijah's sinister plans. The CEO had been secretly recording executives' personal conversations, using Nadia's gift to pinpoint their deepest fears and desires. He planned to use this information for blackmail purposes, forcing corporate leaders into compliance with his wishes in exchange for keeping their darkest secrets hidden. Horrorized by what she'd uncovered, Nadia knew she couldn't let Elijah weaponize her gift any longer. She scheduled a meeting with Kai, intending to confront him once and for all about the conspiracy within empathics. Kai listened to her accusations with a mixture of disbelief and remorse as Nadia revealed everything she'd discovered. "I never meant for this to happen," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. Nadia's anger dissipated slightly at Kai's words. She realized that even he had been duped by the CEO's charm and deception, but she couldn't forgive him completely until they found a solution to put an end to Elijah's schemes. Together, Nadia and Kai hatched a plan to expose empathics' true intentions. Once and for all, they would use Nadia's gift one final time to reveal the conspiracy during an upcoming company-wide meeting. If it failed, they knew they'd have to pay the price, possibly even sacrificing their own identities. With Rebecca's support, Nadia chose to fight back. At the meeting, she unleashed her gift upon Elijah, revealing his treachery to everyone present. The room erupted into chaos as employees began to question their roles in empathics' machinations. Elijah was arrested that night, and within a month, all traces of empathics vanished from the corporate landscape. Nadia had saved countless lives by preventing the weaponization of her gift, a true hero among sound waves. In the aftermath, Kai and Rebecca reached out to Nadia, offering their support as she navigated this new reality. They became friends, united in their quest for truth and justice, proof that, even amidst the chaos, there was always hope for redemption. As for Nadia, her journey had taught her a valuable lesson. True power lies not in one's abilities, but in the courage to stand up against injustice, no matter the cost. And so, she embarked on a new path, one filled with purpose and promise, using her gift to help those who needed it most, while remembering the lessons of empathics' cautionary tale of corporate greed and betrayal. 3 months had passed since empathics imploded under Nadia's revelations. The world was still reeling from the scandal, but as time healed old wounds, she found herself inundated with requests for her services, individuals seeking her unique gift to uncover deception and bring transparency to their own lives. It was an overwhelming but exhilarating new reality. One morning, Nadia received a call from Kai. "Hey," his voice sounded nervous. "I wanted to check in on you. How's life been treating you?" "Busy as usual," she replied with a laugh, "but I wouldn't have it any other way." "I'm glad. Rebecca said you've been doing incredible work out there, helping people find the truth." "That's what this gift is meant for," Nadia said firmly. "Yeah, and that's why I called." Kai paused before continuing in a hesitant tone. "I've been working on something new, a more ethical application of our technology, a way to use it not just for vetting executives, but to empower individuals with the tools they need to protect themselves from deceit." "Tell me more," she encouraged. Over the next hour, Nadia listened as Kai walked her through his concepted device that would allow users to detect emotional truth in sound waves, similar to her implant but on a smaller scale. It wouldn't be invasive or tied to any corporation's agenda. Instead, it would put power directly into people's hands. Nadia didn't hesitate. "When do we start?" They made plans to meet at his lab the following week. Nadia hung up the phone, her mind racing with excitement for this new venture. She had found a way to keep using her gift responsibly, to fight deception and protect others from harm. As the days passed, Nadia threw herself into preparing for her testing role. She researched sound wave manipulation, studied human psychology, and pored over scientific papers on auditory perception. By the time she arrived at Kai's lab, she felt ready to dive in head first. Kai welcomed her warmly, showing off his prototype device, a sleek, portable headset that looked nothing like Empathic's invasive implant. He explained how it worked, using subtle vibrations and audio frequencies to enhance the user's innate ability to detect emotional truth in sound. Nadia listened intently as he demonstrated its capabilities detecting lies, spotting hidden agendas, even gauging someone's overall emotional state. It was incredible the technology had come a long way since she first received her implant. With Kai's guidance, Nadia spent the rest of the day testing the device herself. She wore it while conversing with strangers on the street, observing how easily she could pick up on their emotional truths. By the time the sun began to set, she was sold. This was exactly what Empathix should have been. As they packed up and said their goodbyes for the evening, Nadia turned to Kai with a serious expression. "I'm in this with you," she declared, "for as long as it takes to make this technology a reality." Kai smiled, looking relieved but also grateful. "Thank you, Nadia. I couldn't have found a better partner." Together, they set off into the night, a new alliance forged amidst the ruins of Empathix. They would use their combined skills and knowledge to create something truly remarkable, to give people the power to hear the world honestly for themselves. And as they walked side by side under the city's twinkling lights, Nadia knew that this was only the beginning. Her true journey had just begun.